and after a long time, I'm going to give some training on SaaS architecture and design. You can follow me on Twitter or on LinkedIn. I don't share Facebook profile or Instagram profile. So today we'll talk about SaaS software design and architecture. So what we should do, what we should not do, and what I learned after developing multiple SaaS-based platforms. And I'll try to answer these few queries that typically comes up in everybody's mind while starting designing the software as a service platform. So what would be your architectural approach in designing a SaaS platform? Design the architecture and share the high-level view of the SaaS application. What are the architectural challenges we faced and resolving the same? How would we ensure the performance, scalability, and reliability aspect of SaaS platform data and analytics part? So let's try to answer these queries. Now I'll give you a short intro to SaaS. SaaS means software as a service, means anything which is provided as a service. We don't own the product, we just use as the service. It means software delivery and maintenance via subscription model. A SaaS product is hosted in the cloud, which means it does not need to be installed on a computer and is not sold with a lifetime license. SaaS design should also cover security, audit, logging as cross-cutting concern of SaaS platform. Users of such software do not have to deal with complicated configurations or updates. They always have access to newest version of the software. Now, what SaaS offers benefits? First is security. Cloud service providers ensure maximum security of data. Cost efficiency. No need to buy and maintain hardware. Reliability. Servers can be located around the world, so even if one of them goes down, the app will remain online. Scalability. You can upgrade or downgrade your subscription plan with a few simple clicks according to your requirements. What is more, a SaaS-based application can be used on multiple devices, including mobile device, with a single login, contrary to the traditional software. Users also usually have the opportunity to test the software before buying the subscription, which is a significant advantage. Now, what are the architectural approach in designing SaaS-based platform? I'll do some assumptions and considerations. We'll design for a software as a product where multiple clients of same business requirement can get the solution. And always remember, on SaaS-based platform, clients come with the similar requirements. More than 50 to 80% requirements are same. Otherwise, if there is more than 50% requirement different between two clients, then we cannot accommodate both the clients on same platform. The aim will be to provide seamless user experience for all customers. We can have educational platform which will serve the purpose of online education requirement for all schools these days, considering the epidemic that we have, COVID-19. Each client will get its own branding on the application to make them feel that this product is made for them and it's not a shared service. Few of the client will have existing software implemented in their premise, so we will integrate those softwares and data into our product. To maintain zero downtime due to any infrastructure issue, we'll use cloud services such as AWS to have minimum downtime and auto scaling. We need to make sure new clients or tenants onboarding should be easy and simple. Now here, all these are considerations and assumptions. We need to maintain data privacy between each clients. Bug fixes or feature development and deployment of one client should not affect other client. Design should ensure individual tenant can be expired, renewed, or removed from the system very easily. Design should incorporate non-functional and functional requirement of the client. Backup and recovery plan will be part of the design. Design will also cover security, audit, and logging as cross-cutting concern of SaaS platform. Now, what are the software and hardware requirements that we'll need? We can use AWS service for hardware infrastructure requirement. Using cloud infrastructure gives some inbuilt facility of fault tolerance, auto scaling, backup and recovery, low latency, etc. compared to the on-premise deployment. It reduces lots of overhead and cost. AWS provides auto-scalable virtual hardware which will expand or shrink as per load and request. To have low downtime and low latency, we'll use cluster of services which will be managed with AWS load balancer. We can use following services of AWS. We can use S3 for hosting files or static content, RDS for database with AZ service for low latency and data backup as well, EC2 service for computing requirement, AWS Lambda for ETL work. We'll populate an analytics data in given interval also. If a school college needs to pull data from other college, universities or third-party vendors on demand, we can use Lambda to do ETL work and will store data in S3 in CSV format. This will save cost as well. AWS Athena for querying from S3 bucket. Whatever data gathered in S3 using ETL, we can do query directly using AWS Athena service. We can avoid code and deployment and cost as well. Technology stack that can be used is Java, 8 or 11, MySQL or MongoDB at database layer, React or Angular at front-end layer. Now how will be the application architecture of this educational system? So we can see each client will have its own subdomain. Client1.onlineeducation.com, client2.onlineeducation.com, client3.onlineeducation.com. Now each tenant will have its own admin who will do the user management, plus who will also access the reports and data analytics. Now there will be a super admin part which will manage the admins and all the tenants. This super admin will manage the user of the tenant onboarding, subscription, removing an existing tenant or renewal of subscription. Now we'll have the SSL for secure communication, and each client will interact with server using the REST APIs. Now in the right hand side you can see the virtual private cloud of AWS. We have to use load balancer if there are more clients, and each load balancer will manage multiple servers. Now behind the servers we'll have we'll have common cache that will be used or accessed by all the clients. We'll have transaction DB, analytics DB, audit DB, database backup we can have, AWS S3, logging and server monitoring. These are the common building blocks that will be accessed by all the servers. No unauthorized user can access the VPC on AWS cloud, and each of the client can only access through SSL secure communication, and each of the REST API that will be developed will be authenticated. Now what will be the approach to develop the SaaS-based application? Each client will have its own subdomain to login. Subdomain will help to give customer branding on login first page which will be accessed by each tenant. In each transaction table, we'll add tenant ID as the column to identify which tenant this row belongs to. If we won't do this, then we will need to do few joins to get to know for which row belongs to which tenant. Each tenant assets or files will be kept in a tenant named folder. This will help to identify files for each tenant, and also files with same name can be uploaded at the same time. At persistent layer, we can go with a single DB or separate DB for each tenant. Like each approach will have its own advantage and disadvantage. We will integrate CI/CD pipelines using Jenkins. CI/CD pipelines will include code checkout from GitHub and build the code using Maven. Execute new DB script if there is any. Execute the unit test, integration test, automation test in the CI pipeline. Deploy and finally deploy to the dev environments. What will be the workflow? New clients will add request from marketing site to use the service. Marketing or sales team will collect all the needed information from the client and will pass to the super admin user for portal. Super admin of platform can accept or reject the request of new client. Super admin of portal will manage subscription for each client. Tenant admin user of application can manage its own user and will also have access to different analytics and reports. Analytics and port will access Analytics DB. Analytics DB will be separate from the transaction DB. Analytics DB will have summary data and will be specifically designed for reporting and analytics purpose. ETL from various DB will be done using ETL tool or AWS Lambda. In one of my projects, I used both separate single DB and multiple DB. Now, what are the issues that we typically face during and after implementation? So, first of all, maintaining data privacy for each client is important, and this is one of the things that we face. Maintaining data privacy for each client, considering same code base and DB responsible for all the clients. Backup and export of individual tenant data. If any clients they don't want to use the platform after a period of time, we need to give them the data. How will we give them the data if data is at same place? Finalizing single deployment time for each client, considering clients using application from various countries. Deployment is one of the things that we need to manage. So, and considering users are from various countries from across the world, which time you will finalize for the downtime. Individual bug fixes or new feature enhancement in the same code repo should not impact other client. Sometimes it complicates the business logic as well. Due to large transaction of more number of users of one client, other client which will have lower number of users, maintaining good performance for all clients is needed. Verifying bugs and fixes for individual clients and specific need to integrate devices or third-party apps or library, considering the other clients won't need it. Code changes for any client who want to onboard on platform but have more than 30 to 50% requirement difference from SaaS platform feature. Turning on off a specific feature of platform based on tenant user logged in needs making each feature configurable. So these are the typical issues that we'll face during and after implementation of SaaS platform. Now, how will we manage the performance, scalability, security, and reliability of the SaaS-based platform? Having proper or appropriate indexes in DB is necessary. Having aggregates, reports, analytics tables separate from the transaction table is necessary. Making each feature configurable and in the beginning itself start with the default values as disabled until it's fully built. Design for interface and reusability in mind so that new features should take less time to code and test. Must take care of the memory CPU while writing the code, defining variables, loops, and in code reviews. Always discuss security concerns for each new features coming for development on timely manner to VAPT testing or add VAPT as part of the CI pipeline. Before code reaches to production, we must have 2-3 layers of servers, dev, integration, QA, sandbox, staging, etc. on which the code must be tested. Writing unit test, integration test, automation test is mandatory for each developer. Performance testing must be done on production's cloned server environment to get to know which area of application is taking time to execute. Google Analytics or similar services must be an integral part of the portal or mobile application to get more information on user and application behavior. Microservices architecture we should use so that the failure of one part of app won't affect the other part, and with toggle feature we can turn off the non-working area of application. Now analytics part of SaaS. The first level analytics will get to know by integrating Google Analytics on both web and mobile application. Analytics or reports always show aggregate values, so we won't use the larger transaction table. Instead, we'll use the aggregates or fact tables. If needed, we can do partitions on DB based on tenant IDs so that the reading data from table will take less time. We'll use ETL to transform data which is suitable for reports and analytics. For drill down charts and reports, we'll send lower level data in one API request only so that for each lower level drill down, we don't need to call the API again. API should be written in such a way that maximum data needed for reports analytics can be returned in one go. We can reduce number of API calls. Any charts, graphs, or library or Tableau can be used for analytics presentation layer. Auto refresh rate we can set for dashboard reports so that user can see latest data without page refresh. Most useful charts or graph will be kept at the upper page and less useful reports can be kept in the lower part of the page of dashboard. And I'm not in favor of using the big data or NoSQL data or using any paid tool unless it is mandatory for the company or the project. Most challenging or important part in analytics is to code for performance and DB storage. To make analytics more effective, we need to come up with more informative reports instead of just displaying data. Informative reports will help end user to make decisions. Thank you, viewers. And if you have any queries related to SaaS, please write in the comment box. Do like and subscribe the video. Thank you.